Welcome, Divine Hearts. Well, welcome back. And this week we have a lovely guest returning to us. She is Julie Dhara Roberts. And Julie is many, many things. She is a Celestial Shaman. She's a Gatekeeper. She's a Gridkeeper. She's an Andara Guardian. And so many other things that she is stepping into too as we are continually evolving. So I'm thrilled and excited, and it's always a joyous connection with Julie. So thank you so much, Julie, for joining us again.
Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to connect with you.
Oh, I'm so excited because I'm going to dive straight in to the offering that you created recently around the rainbow rays. And I wanted to ask you, how did this come about? What was created and how it went?
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's a great question. So I have an online course platform, or voyages, I call it. So I have a 4-part rainbow light body activation. So for me, I've been like the rainbow codes have always, like for many of us, right? Like every time I see a rainbow, or just like rainbow, 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 rainbow. And in my 2012 transition, where I switched my roles, and I used to own like a large wellness and yoga center, and moved into a different role here at Interspace. When I was connecting with, I was doing the healing work, individual healing work, session work with folks. And I had this like, how does it happen? You know, like I wanted to dive deeper, like where does prana come from? Or like, this is all happening. Like, and really the rainbow rays started speaking to me directly. I got the answer of like, it's the sun. It's the coding of the sun. Like everything's from the sun. So my work became very much about communicating to the sun. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then the rainbow rays are really the letters of the alphabet, or the notes of the scale, or the colors pattern that our sun speaks to us in. So I had seen, in my mind's eye and in dream state, this octagon shape. Like I wanted to build rainbow pod for my clients to go into and myself to go into. So I constructed it hanging from the ceiling with silks, and I used that for a long time. So anyway, you asked about the current offering. So really that was, I said, back in like 2012, 2013, and it's been, every circle around the sun, more information comes through. And 2016, I had a much more reawakening, key code unlocking activation of all the grid work and my role in it. And then along the way, so it's really, I wanted to gather all the things and invite people, or give people tangible tools to work with their own rainbow light body. Because for me, I feel like the rainbow light body, as we all know, or there's many different layers and levels and overlays of the light body, or different phases or facets of the light body. But the rainbow light body is the one that I feel like folks can connect to. It's that rainbow bridge to the light body. It's like it's connected to, because it's like Kermit sings about it, and the Muppets, like there's songs about it. There's like Wizard of Oz. It's like in our iconography, and it's in our own coding, like our cells, just like, everybody gets like most kindergartners draw the rainbow, artwork.
Yes.
And so it's like very human, tangible interface to the light body. That,
wow.
So, and it's very joyful for me. And it's like, if you came and saw my center, like everything, like just like I'm a rainbow girl. I like color and like that bright color. So, so I have a 4-part, I know they're escaping me right now. One is the rainbow connection. So I talk about the code, with the sound codes. So the scales, and then and also for people that start learning with the chakra system, and, working with your energy field, that's like the interface. I think a lot of us have that background of like, we know the chakras, we know there's rainbow colors with them. And then like, how do you take that energy body knowledge and then work, one rung out in the multidimensional sphere is the light body, right? It's like the nadis and that magnetic body
Yes.
of the nadis or the meridians, whatever system you use. And it's like, how does that translate into the light body? And I feel like the chakra system is really that translation point.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely, it does. Because I've been exploring colours too, but it's been coming in through a different way of showing us how we are sort of alchemists of these rays too, and how, but I thought red was red. No, red is a mixture of these different rays that's come in together. And then look at the bandwidth of the red, for example, or blue, or any of the other primary colours that we think of as this just block of colour. The alchemy that goes into creating that specific frequency and the bandwidth that we have within that too. So it's like, so for me, for example, the violet has been a huge gateway taking me deeper to discover that, but look at me, I'm the blue ray, and I am the rose pink ray, but also in different gradients of me, you can add the white ray too. So you'll have more of that frequency in me. So I'm not these, that even the one ray is a mixture, So it's really got me playing with the idea of, it's pushing me to look deeper into the colour frequencies and us as alchemists, which is really exciting, and how we can play with bringing these frequencies into our realities, or into our own, when we're doing work on ourselves, that we can call these frequencies into, which is exactly what you're doing and you're showing people, really. So it's, I found it very, very exciting. And again, the rainbows, the looking at certain pictures of people's rainbows and seeing these new frequencies in there too, these new colour rays, and seeing how we are creating these alchemy of new colours now, as we are ready, as our light bodies are changing and the DNA is activating, and we're accessing these different frequencies. So there's so much there. And also, I don't know if you heard another wonderful lightkeeper, Amanda Lawrence. She spoke a while back about her realization about the rainbow, that the rainbow is in truth a whole circle, right, but that we're just seeing the half of it every now and then. And so that has blown my mind wide open too, to the magic of the rainbow, what we access when you are this rainbow girl and you enter your room, and what you feel and what you bring to others when they enter your room with all these rainbow colours. It just naturally brings us into this joyous frequency, this magical realm. So then to think about this constant circle rainbow that's always there, it's just our perception that's just expanding it even more. So it's,
yeah, I had that circle show. There's so many things to say to your comment. I was in a plane last time I flew, which is a while ago, but that, you can see the circle around. I saw the shadow of the plane and the aura around, like in the full circle. That's beautiful. So back to a big piece of how the rainbow codes show up for me and why I wanted to launch this new offering this year is, I think we thought I was talking about like building with light or builder codes. And to me, the rainbow rays are those tools, or like talking about the letters of the alphabet. Yes. So I have the one thing about the sound coding, which I call the rainbow connection. So it's like, they're 4 like little mini courses that can be put together into one bundle course. And then another one is You Are the Rainbow Bridge. So working through the chakras and like familiarizing people with them, and lots more to that. And then the one I'm working to launch this month is the rainbow, the builder codes of the rainbow rays. So they come show themselves to me and through octagons, through the 8.
Oh,
And then I was starting to share this with you because we talk about Venus a lot, but so there's lots of different ways to use the rainbow rays in their builder code capacities. There's a section I have about doing it as a pyramid, because you can build each like row of the pyramid. There is an octagon, like light body phase of building with. And then this year, on January 8th, I believe, 8th, 9th, the sun conjuncted Venus. And I had this strong inner knowing that there was like a Venus rainbow connection, but I wasn't like quite totally, things come, they drop in,
yes.
and then you have to like find the nuggets of what that means. So I was working with that. I was like, why do I want to do this like rainbow work on like, what does that have to do with Venus really? And I was searching around a little bit, and then I found the star of Ishtar, or the star of Inanna, the star of Venus. Have you found that?
Well, my sister's called Esther, and her nickname, her friends always call her Ishtar. So that got me talking to Ishtar. Yeah.
So it's like a Babylonian or Egyptian, but this star of Venus is an 8-pointed star, and each one is a rainbow color in a direction, like on the compass, and associated with a planet. And I had this like, just this bing, bing, like, oh, this is what when you like do something for years and then you figure out what you've done, then it all like comes together. But anyway, I used to have, so my yoga center that I was talking about, I called flow forms yoga, because it had this flow. So I had the rainbow octagon set up around my treatment table or energy table in a way that moved the energy, kind of like the Ida and Pingala nadis, through the spiral around the Sushumna, around the central channel. But the star of Venus, that's the rainbow rays, has them like more sequential, like red, orange, yellow, green. So I was wanting to explore the star of Venus more. And then I was like, oh, I have this here. I can just rearrange how the colors go. And also I wanted, since we're both Andara guardians and lovers,
yes.
A big part of this for me, my Andara journey is very intertwined, like rainbow journey. So I got my first Andara, whatever, linear time doesn't matter, but it was like 2017, 2016. And I had one piece, and then I had 2 pieces, and they were blue. One was dark blue, one was light blue. So it was like a Blu-ray activation. And then then I got a silver and gold. So I had 4 pieces that were my like, play, amazing act. And then I really knew that I needed a rainbow set. I was like, I have to have a rainbow set. I have to have a rainbow set. So you've had Dana on your program before. Yes. So she's like, we kind of like, we're Andara sisters. I sort of like grew up in the Andara playground together and, supporting each other. And I got a lot of my early pieces from her shop. And so I called her, or email messaged her, and was like, can we put together a rainbow set? And she's like, I was just thinking the same thing. Like, I want to do rainbow. It's not an uncommon thing, right? But I was like, let's do rainbow set. So I got a rainbow set of Andaras, and that just like opened a whole situation for me. And I would use them in conjunction with people. So the courses or the voyages that I'm offering now are really, I can say this to you because you'll understand, like I co-teach them with the Andaras. It's like really the Andaras are leading the offering, and I'm the human vessel that talks and types things for them. I just do that. I'm like in the most glorious way. I just do their bidding. I listen. I know how to communicate with them. They guide the way.
Yes.
And then I just, so I have amassed a bunch of rainbow sets here, because then people would ask, like, where can I get one? And I was like, I don't really know. So I've been collecting them over the years. So in addition to this voyage, if people so choose, because some people, not everyone's meant to be an Andara guardian, right? Some people can freely use the technology without having. And for people that are on limited budgets, you can go out into your yard and collect 8 acorns and paint 1 red and paint 1 green and paint 1, you can get rocks and paint them. You can cut out circles of paper and use those as your talismans, right? Those work just as well.
Yes.
But the Andaras are an accelerated course for sure. So I have for people that want to go like the full journey with me, they get a rainbow set of Andaras, and then this four-part course. And it's designed really to bring your remembrance into your, that full rainbow light body capacity to come online all the way. And crystalline, and really like what we're doing is the crystalline light body. It's like you become the crystal, and then the sunlight shines through you as through a prism, and the rainbow rays are, poured out into the room you're in, just like a prism that you hang in your windowsill.
And I love that you're bringing the Andaras in, you're bringing those frequencies in with the Andaras. So there's also, because you were speaking about the acceleration there, but it's because of this transformation, this diamondization that's occurring, it's a huge assistance with moving from the old to the new. So the old chakra system being uplifted to be elevated.
They wanted to come to fit one of the sets. Like,
careful.
That one didn't break.
Oh, phew.
They're kind of bigger. I'll do two hands, babies. Anyway, they wanted to say hi to you.
That's beautiful. Oh, well done. So I will put a link to this voyage, to these courses,
thank you so much. That's so sweet of you.
with this as well, so that people can find it easily. So let's talk a little bit more about the frequencies maybe you've been working with lately. If you're still feeling the Venus frequencies to be important to you at this time, or have you shifted to some other frequencies that you're playing with?
Interesting. I feel like we're in a big shift of that right now, but in the recent past, it's really been very Mercury oriented, because I was working with the Pleiadian gateway, and when the sun aligned with the Pleiades or conjuncted the Pleiades, Mercury was right there next to the sun. So whereas last year it was Mars, and then the year before it was Venus. So it's like I feel like I've gone through a strong coding with the Venus, and then a strong one with Mars. And this year it's been very Mercury. And so
I love the way, I remember the way you described the Mercury energy last time, this quick silver energy. And I love that. It stuck with me because it gave me another perspective of that frequency too that I hadn't thought of before. So that was lovely.
And it's, in my daily life, it's come through as like another round of like speaking up, setting boundaries, that communication, but it's like, it's like almost like from every angle, it's like the biological family of, my mom and siblings, my husband and kids, like institutions we're involved in, like schools and sports teams and all that, like things. Yes. like it's been very much speak up and like create the new. Whereas there was a period of not doing that. How about that?
Yes.
But I found this spring has been very much communication oriented in lots of ways too. So I another facet of the rainbow body, which this has, but I want to say that, so do you familiar with William Henry's work? It's like the rainbow body is a vehicle to connect with your like galactic watcher self too. Like there's a whole school of thought, or a lot of people that have explored, the ascension body being the rainbow light body and the lot body of the cloak. And that, so on a one level, the rainbow body is very, very accessible for humans because of the rainbows and, the magic that we've all discussed here. But then it's like the bridge part of it is it takes you to your galactic aspects in this like joyful, playful way, almost like not that you don't notice, but then all of a sudden you're on the other side of this magical bridge, and then you're like in the galactic coding.
Yes, well, that makes sense, because we're then, with the light body being activated, we're operating in a different way. We're accessing the multidimensional DNA. So we're beginning to really pierce through those veils of separation within us as the multidimensional being that we are. So we're going to be able to tap into the galactic more, and possibly what I'm seeing too, which is beautiful, is how we are able to, so we'll experience a certain frequency, say as we're waking up, we might feel more of a connection with the Pleiadian frequency in the beginning, because it's the closest frequency to us in many ways.
Yeah, right.
But then we can come back around to that frequency again, but we're in a different bandwidth of it to experience it differently. Yeah. And that might again feel even more galactic now, because we are in higher realms of it. So
a lot of that, the pictures of like the Buddha or Jesus or Muhammad, like a lot of them have that rainbow halo quality.
Yes.
It's really like it's a wormhole or travel corridor. Like any of the rays are really
I'll tell you,
dimensional travel.
This is portal. And I'm watching at the moment The Man in the High Castle series, and there is this very sort of dark, serious aspect to it, but there's also this really multidimensional story running all the way through it about these beings who are discovering their capabilities of disappearing from one dimension and going into another dimension where they can exist. So visually, we get to see these beings sort of disappear in a sense and really leave like rainbows behind, which is, again, going back to these accounts of monks doing this too, and going with the body and rainbows being left outside. So there's
they'd be meditating in their caves for decades.
Yes.
And then they would simply vanish.
Absolutely.
And leave a rainbow frequency behind. Like they became their being of light. Yeah.
This is it. So yes. So it's such an exciting journey for us as we are transforming now to discover how, what will transition look like for those beings who are really operating from an activated light body, or what capabilities are going to be coming online. It's just like a constant journey of discovery now for us as we're
it shows
evolving.
Itself sometimes. I was talking about the octagon or the 8-pointed star because they're the same construct. It just depends how you connect the dots.
Yes.
But it shows itself to me as like a personalized spaceship suit, like almost like a Merkaba, but like the rainbow form of it. And it spins and it moves. It's not like a set thing, right? It's like the spinning orb of, the light body is completely dynamic and like a spirograph, like moving and all about.
Yes.
And that rainbow sphere becomes like the pod that you travel through time and space in. But then also people can come and just like chill and just enjoy rainbow stuff and like rainbow. Like everyone could meet it where they're at. Like not everyone's gonna, go on that full journey. But
and I remember being I'm still in awe of the Andaras today, but having some of the electric green Andaras a few years ago and experiencing them just disappear and appear again. So they were showing me, oh, look what we can do. We do this so easily. We can just disappear and appear, and we ask where we go. Think about where we go,
Yeah.
And
I call it to my friends here, like they go on walkabout.
Yeah.
They're like interdimensional walkabout.
And this opening up the potentiality, we can do this too. So and that we are exploring in these bodysuits what these are capable of doing, so it's just
in some of the pieces themselves will pop rainbows inside of them, right? Like that's a whole other facet of Andara pieces activating or awakening, or that like a lot of them they have a sheen on the outside sometimes, but then in the cracks or the crevices of them on the inside, and they'll be for the way I use them, like on the land and out on sites, and they come with me places, and we'll go on journeys, and I'll have certain grid keeping or grid work things to do over the years. And then like the Andaras themselves change after they've worked big time. They change in color. They'll get in different inclusions. I have one you mentioned, like a mint green one that I had, I'm sure this is true in your grid. Sometimes Andara grid keeping is like putting something on a shelf or a window ledge and then leaving it there for a year or two.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, that's just holding space for something.
Yes.
But then when they tell us it's time to move them, you pick them up and you're like, this wasn't the color it was, back then. And it's like, but the rainbow thing, sometimes I've had ones, especially when I do more of the water work or river work or ocean work, and working with some of the transmutation stuff on the grids here. It's like, oh, that piece all of a sudden has a rainbow in it, and it's like deep inside the piece. So that's like a magical.
Oh, yes.
It's showing us the way too, by like literally embodying rainbow.
You had a lovely little video recently as well. You've done the dawn of the chorus or chorus dawn with these beautiful Andaras, and we get to see the sun coming up as well. It's beautiful. So you've done a few of those, which are really, really lovely as well, because they're activations in themselves. Somebody was asking me recently that again, it's about, we don't need to, we are Andara fiends, as it turns out, so we love having them as our little ascension buddies. But you don't have to. You can go through this. It's just a path. Some of us are drawn to them, and some are not, and it's perfect. So you can feel into these images and still receive those activations. So, because they're just so beautifully powerful, and it's the beauty as well. It's this pure beauty I find that they've brought into my life, into my awareness, this deeper level of, it's possibly because in our human lives in the beginning, we might be put upon an idea of what beauty means, but we really know there's something much more to that program or idea. It doesn't feel aligned. And then for me, the Andaras have just opened up this other deeper realm of beauty that you can really tangibly feel inside. It's like this awe, to look again at everything with this new awareness now of this beauty that really comes from inside. And so they've been like a little key for me to unlock something really deep, and then with that comes these deeper connections to whatever we find beauty in then. So it takes you on this huge pathway, and to bring those things in as well into your reality and into your life as well, because they nourish you very much. So it's just
like everyone uses them in their own, his or her unique way.
Yes.
There's no, you must get this question a lot too. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with them? Like anything you want, like if it's, you like sleep with them or hold them or bring them places or take pictures of them or just be, it's just like that. It brings it, for me, like it's effervescent. Like it lights me up, or I could be having, a day where I need like a recalibration or an off. It's like you walk into a room where they're on a window ledge and it's like, oh, hi friends. It just adds that, puts a smile on your face.
Yes.
It really is that joy.
So
and the journey of, how deep one can go with them. It's amazing.
Infinite.
And you mentioned going back to the Pleiades, if you don't mind. That there's a thing about the Pleiades too that's coated with the 7 colors of the rainbow.
Oh, you tapped into that before, and so it would be lovely to move into that. Yes.
So it's there's a lot of, it's like a gateway, but not in the, we use that term a lot, right? Gateway, but they are like that opening, that doorway to walk through. And I don't know, the story keeps wanting to come out. It's a little personal, but I know you're a mom and you don't mind either. Like, or mind, like a birth story. So one of the times where the time I was really, really activated to what the chakras are at a super deep level was during the birth of my son. And there was some, like, you know, my sweet home birth turned into a different route, and you know, emergency C-section-ish, and we were in the hospital, and like lots of stuff happened to both he and I. But it was very, after the birth, I had this like thing where I could see orange, like everything that was white in the room, like the doctor's lab coat, like the walls. Out of one of my eyes, I was seeing orange. So they were concerned, you know, that they were doing all the tests of this, like concerned that it was a blood vessel or this or a heart thing or this. And it was like, there was nothing wrong with me. And then I told one of my friends who was like open-minded and like-minded like us. I was like, oh, like I went through that sacral chakra, the birth portal. And like, I feel like I had to go to the edge of that, whatever, life and death edge, and gather him and bring him through. Because he at the last minute maybe wasn't going to come, you know? And it left this like residue or like this visual imprint that lasted for weeks. And it was like, you know, to those around me, it was quite concerning. But I'm like, I got this, we're good. But that experience was, you know, a lot to integrate. And then you get this baby that you have to take care of too. This is my first child too. So it's like, you know how that rocks one's world on lots of levels. But that, I was like, oh, I told the friend, I was like, I think I went through the wormhole of the second chakra through that birth. And now it's like, it's with me in my eyesight. So that like activation of that was like, oh, this color thing with the chakras is not this thing in a book. You know, it's like a thing. Like a lot of us have these Blu-ray, you mentioned Blu-ray at the beginning, right? These like Blu-ray transmissions, like what's that whole like Syrian Blu-ray, you know, like portal that one's soul comes through to make it here to this galaxy, you know, to this galaxy, to this place, to this solar system. And we have these like, you know, the rays imprint on us or stay with us in our light field.
Oh my gosh.
But that, like, I feel like that part, like that activation for me, that birth activation was the opening of like, oh, like not just seeing in colors, but like realizing what the true underlay of this like life coding that is in the rainbow, in our energy centers. Like each one of the chakras is like like you described, like a doorway or like a bandwidth of like certain frequency to come through.
Wow, that's such an incredible experience. Such an incredible experience.
That was the wackiest week of my life, I tell you.
Because I'm trying to think of sometimes coming, if I've been resting or in a meditative state, there are weeks where for some time, but not all the time, but for some time afterwards, I'm seeing a certain color. It's like a veil of this color, and that's what I see. So that's really interesting because so I've had that experience with a really spring green, and most recently the violet, seeing the violet a lot. So isn't that interesting? We are naturally moving through these color frequencies at the moments that it's divine timing for us in some way. So for you to bring
like
those,
a tunnel or like a
yes,
each way is like a.
And interestingly, with the violet, very much about burning away of the old, very aware of that, and going through the flu-like symptoms, the light and these upgrades. So really, this is it. us really getting to experience the power, the palpable nature of these frequencies and the colors.
Wow,
So
you just connected some dots for me with the violet, because I think you and I both got temple violet pieces around the beginning of this calendar year.
yes,
And how it laid me out for month, like,
yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, I know this is from, but like how you just explained it really showed me a lot. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Frequency light upgrades are
Yes,
real.
yes, it's real.
Especially for the violet, because I've been very drawn to the violet, also the purples, and they come with each color ray in general of the solar codes, but of the Andaras, it's like each one is its own upgrade, right? Its own.
Yes. And the violet in particular, that's why I was pushed to look deeper into the nature of the frequency, to see the balance of the divine masculine and the balance of the divine feminine coming in, so that's the purification transformation process that's going inside.
I'll do it from because I'm here in the United States, and I'm not sure, maybe globally there's a lot of red and blue division in our country, and I've been really like in the violet, like it's red and blue make violet, like we have to come all together into the violet camp instead of this divisive polarity of the red and blue. So that's like just like what you're saying, it's playing out here in a different way, but it's all the same work, right? Of that, like,
exactly.
Let's meld it all together into the violet, the violet love.
And yeah, exactly. So many things there, Julie. You just bounce.
Don't go politics, but maybe I'll start the green party. I'll start the violet party. Purple power.
This is it. Oh, how lovely.
All love.
So is there any conjunctions or events in the celestial realms that you are really excited about or looking forward to?
I was looking at that prior to our talk, or in general, but I was like, what should Lois asked me that, what should we talk about? So Tuesday, you're in Monday already. We're time travelers just when we talk, because you're in Monday and I'm in Sunday, but because of our global locations. But so on the 14th, or in a day or two, we have a full moon coming up, right? And it's a super moon. And so the sun recently went through the constellation Taurus and went by the Pleiades. And right now it's going in between the horns of Taurus and going up to so there's two tip of the horns of Taurus, the constellation that the sun is journeying through. But in the next few days, it's going right next to the Crab Nebula. So one of the codings in the celestial shamanic or galactic shamanic role that I play, or celestial gatekeeper, is to pay attention to what's in the sky next to what, because they code together. And the Crab Nebula, speaking of galactic communication, it's one of the emission and radio nebula. So it has that the radio, maybe there's a good slip in there. The radio frequencies create this, like, a lot of like sound waves and emissions from the Crab Nebula. So the sun is there, and we have the full moon. So the moon is obviously across the sky from the sun when it's full. And where the moon is sitting is right next to the galactic center. It's over by Sagittarius, and right between Scorpio and Sagittarius, those constellations, is the band of the Milky Way. And the center of the galaxy, where we look to the sky and we say, that's the direction of the center of the galaxy. That's right by, if you look at the Sagittarius constellation, it's like an archer, right, pulling back the bow. At the tip of the bow is near Sagittarius 3, one of those stars, is Sagittarius A star, which is the center of the galaxy. And that's got a lot of kind of press lately, because one of the big telescopes saw the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Did you see any of that?
No, I didn't. You lit up. You were full of light codes when you spoke about that.
I'm noticing this full moon And it's set up right before solstice, or it's right before, a week before solstice, is we have the sun and the moon across the sky from each other, which they'd be in any full moon scenario. But right now they're at this, it's like they're at the center of the galaxy and the anti-center of the galaxy, the opposite point. So they're like this bow pulling quality. Like when the sun and moon set up here, it's definitely a special situation or a special opening. Can you feel it? It's
yes.
Like holding us towards the center of the galaxy, so that, we've been talking about the chakra column. We have the 7 human body chakras, and then we have the soul star chakra, which is like, in some ways, where I feel like you talk to the solar logos, or you talk to the sun, that unified, where all the colors of the rainbow come together as white.
Yes.
Right. And then you have the subtle chakra above that, which is the stellar communication chakra. That's how I see it, like talking to the star level. And the third one rung above that, is the galactic communicator. It's like galactic center, or it's like galactic logos communicator chakra. So like I feel like that is getting, so that's the one pole, and then we're the like deep inner earth. So not only do we have the 3 above, we have 3 below. The earth star chakra is like below the feet, down into the earth. And then there are 2 other, deeper chakras, and they go like to that inner earth spot. So I feel like we're getting like our galactic center and the deepest core of inner earth are getting pinged in the next few days, which feels like a preparation for solstice.
Yes. Oh, yes. And you're taking us full circle, because you began with the galactic. Mm-hmm. So it's again bringing this through our galactic awareness, this level of consciousness really being given the opportunity to come through now. How amazing is that? And with these portals and gateways that are opening now for the summer, they're always big, they're always amplified. So
and then the sun moves like over the knuckles of Orion, and then towards, as the sun marches on, like the different solar gateways, every constellation that the sun is in, it codes a little different to me. Like it shines a little different. And then we get the July and August. Yeah, it's going to be a fun summer.
I know, it's just, I don't know what to expect. It's going to be, it's just such an exciting time. And it's wonderful that you're able to see this star map so eloquently, to be able to share it as well, because it's a really beautiful way of interpreting the frequencies and the energy, and so unique as well. I love it. I love the things that ping in your universe to bring through to share. It's always just so insightful and of assistance at that time. It's lovely.
Well, it's a good, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And it's, we're talking about the rainbow light body being like a bridge for humans, for all of us, our friends that are, starting on that journey or this activation pathway. But the celestial sphere is so tangible, it's like, it's very accessible too. So it's like, it's good. It's like, I feel like it's one of my roles is to make these really far out and like complicated things more tangible and accessible for people.
Oh, and you're doing that wonderfully.
There has to be those bridge, there has to be,
yes.
It's not just the conjunctions, or because there's so much going on simultaneously, but each one, it's like, it helps us get out of our own individual quagmires of whatever the social, whatever geopolitical things that are going on. It's like, let's all look up at the same sky, right? It's like, that's where we all come together, and like, we're global solar system, galactic citizens of union, that purple ray. And it also gives one something else, something higher up to focus on, something more opening. And just really for anyone who's watching this that's maybe more new to this, your awareness is your key code. It's like, just by simply like wanting to know something, about an Andara or about an alignment, or just like you paying attention to something, like that's investing yourself fully in it. So that's, you are being the conduit then, like you're doing it. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, like you can do a bunch of things, but you don't have to do any of them. It's just you being you, paying attention to something, watching a video, listening to an activation, you know, just like, or just in your own time in nature, with the ocean, with the lake, with the river, with the tree, that like bringing things in, or paying attention to that, using some of your sacred time to make a connection. Like that's the thing.
Well, that was so beautifully said. You have brought us naturally to a really wonderful close. It feels like it's so self-contained, and we came back full circle.
Thank you, friend. You're so amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for hosting these chats. You're
an absolute treasure.